Servus from Vienna, Austria for a summer edition of Access News, live from our studio terrace. In this episode, we first briefly cover what's new at Microsoft for Access. After that, we report on the Access community, also just briefly and mainly about past and upcoming events. The main part of this episode is about artificial intelligence, like almost everything lately for people who don't live in a cave. After a short interview about the issues related to AI, we have a long interview about a brand new add-in that brings AI into Access. But let's start with Microsoft.
In late April, Microsoft released a new web browser control for Access, which had been delayed for years. It is only included in Access 365 and upcoming versions. We've reported on it, of course, and also linked to the documentation pages, which are still sparse. I'll come back to it later in the community section. Since then, there have been no new features from Microsoft. What we did get was a larger batch of bug fixes in June. 14 pieces, including some old acquaintances that were finally fixed. The punishment followed on the heels, namely 2 new bugs in this fixing Office version. One affected Access users who wanted to start a mail merge to Word. However, it was not an Access bug, but a general problem in Office that caused Word to crash. It was fixed after a little over 2 weeks. The other bug caused more of a stir in the Access community because it made it impossible for many people to open and print reports, instead just displaying a memory error. In our article on AccessForever.org, those affected quickly found the information about the bug, the initial workarounds, and then the information about the coming and resolving fix. I've also included a brief history of the bug. The various processes from the first public mention of an update bug to the fix often take too long. This bug here is a positive example of how it can be done faster, thereby reducing the damage. This bug was fixed for the most important current channel within a week with the next possible update. May the cooperation work so well more often.
The Access community is quite active. The various user groups continue to produce their meetings and videos as reported several times before. This time, however, we focus mainly on events.
At the end of April, the 6th Access DevCon Vienna took place, again only virtual. There was a record of 160 attendees finally from all 5 continents. I also put 3 of the DevCon talks freely on YouTube. You can find the links on my YouTube channel and in this blog article. The next Access event was the Spanish user group meeting in Madrid in May, organized by Access MVP Juan Coluna. This meeting was also quite successful, with more than 20 participants meeting for real. Speaking of which, shortly after, Juanjo and I did, as he also lives in Austria, above the floods of the raging Moor River. We discussed all sorts of Access matters. Now to 2 less pleasant topics. In the Access news and at DevCon, we often informed about the progress of twinBASIC. Now, the author, Wayne Phillips, had to postpone the release of version 1.0 for half a year because some hurdles came up. But this is still harmless. If Wayne stays under 1 year postponement for this massive project, I'd still think that's pretty good. The next bad news is that in June, one of the most prolific article writers, Canadian Daniel Pineault, left the planet Access. It will be seen if he will put his many existing articles and code samples back online. Only some of his articles are recorded in the web archive. Anyway, my next event is the German Language Access Developer Conference AK in October. In recent years, because of the pandemic, I have held it hybrid. That means live with internet broadcast. But that cannibalizes the live event and costs me a lot of money. So this time I will again hold it purely offline and physically in Nuremberg, Germany. Planned topics are ChatGPT and Access and VBA, the community project of an Access tool manager, free tools for anonymizing and analyzing Access projects that will be distributed live, and so on. And of course, real Franconian food and Bavarian beer.
Now for the main part, artificial intelligence. First, a short interview, because while we are promoting its use in Access as well, since it is already being built into many software products, and this train can't be stopped anyway, but the whole AI thing is by no means to be viewed uncritically.
Mr. Donnerbauer, What do you think about AI in software development and in general?
It's already a useful tool for developers, as we see in this episode, but in general I think there is an urgent need for a legal framework.
Why? If AI is so great that people are excited like little children.
It's in the hands of big corporations who are in a fierce competition without control and borders. There are open questions like copyright, privacy, misuse, liability, and worst of all, the intelligent chatter in all sorts of publications, without AI declaration. I signed the open letter for a pause in AI experiments, and I hope the world's first AI law of the European Union will come into force soon. It includes a labeling obligation and much more. So now well,
But otherwise, AI is fun and harmless, isn't it?
you must be too young to have seen
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Access, as an old desktop product, sits as usual in the back row when Microsoft distributes its new blessings of AI to its products. Therefore, it is not yet possible to say whether it will take months or years for the manufacturer to incorporate AI into Access, as it does into its important products. But here comes Alexander Denz, yet another such Austrian that is already bringing AI into Access in more ways than one.
Hi, Alex. You want to present us your new tool? Can you tell us something about it generally and about yourself and your company?
Hello, Carl. Thank you for your invitation and the possibility to show you my tool. We have written an Access add-in with the ChatGPT interface. It's in all mouths now, OpenAI and the AI theme in general. So we thought we might bring it to Access.
And get rich by this.
Yeah, maybe. First, I will tell you something about me and my company. I'm an Austrian software development company, mainly focused on our enterprise resource planning tool. We have about 200 customers in Austria, Germany, Switzerland, and have many paid tools, but also a lot of free tools. Our add-in is mainly divided into two parts. The user experience with a ribbon tab, which combines multiple features of the AI, and the developer part, the command bar in the VBE, which helps the developer to explain code, write code, and support him in nearly every aspect. The tool is multilingual, so German, English, French, Italian, Spanish are delivered, but other languages can be added by the user in a very easy way. The single license is $49.90 and the server license with unlimited users is $199.90. You will also need a ChatGPT API key. They have a pay what you use model. I can't say what the cost there will be, but there are very reasonable costs. I have about 1 to 3 euros a month. And you also can set a limit.
So essentially, the developer needs a single license to develop, and
Yes.
to distribute it to customers, he would buy a server license.
That's exactly the model.
Can we see it in action? Where is it?
Sure. So I've prepared a demo database, and there's our ribbon. You will see the buttons, the client, the helper control, and the settings. I have prepared a little example. So we have to select the control in which the AI should do his work. And there I said, write a short letter to Fred that we can't deliver the ordered goods. I just expand the text, and the add-in is giving the prompt to the AI, and in a short period of time now we have the letter to Fred. I think I can send him this. So another example I've prepared is the changing of the text style. So I want the AI to change just a part of my text, not the whole text. So I select the text and say, just give me that, but in a more optimistic way.
So now in the background, you're doing some API calls to
Yes.
OpenAI.
And the answer we are parsing in the active control. I have prepared the Amazon description of Kindle, and you see here the text length. Now I will ask the AI to shorten this text down. I just select the current control and go on shorten text.
And the response time depends on the current usage of OpenAI.
The current usage, if you have ChatGPT Plus subscription, there you have advanced possibilities and quicker response times. And text lengths, the prompt lengths, there are some parameters.
They shrink the text to a fifth. Yep.
Yes. So we can see it could be quite helpful. The next thing I want to show is the OpenAI client, where we can interact with the AI. There are 0 of 20 prompts. You can ask up to 20 questions in the following, and if the chat is full, you can refresh it and make him start a new conversation. When did the first access version come to market? Here we get the answer from OpenAI. Now I can ask him further questions and he knows the whole context of the conversation. Let's see.
The developer could build in any functionality he wants, depending on the OpenAI.
He could take these 6 buttons and he can change the icon, he can change the text, and he can change what the AI does in the background.
Okay. Is it also possible to add further buttons?
In the moment, it's restricted to these 6 buttons, but we are planning to open this and give the developer more possibilities.
Okay, this was the user experience, I
Yes.
think. How about the developer experience?
Well, let's switch to the VBE part. There we have our command bar, which integrates into the VBE. The first thing I want to show you is the OpenAI chat. It's mainly the same, but we do some additional prompts in advance.
So it knows that we are in access and doing
Yeah, yes. How can I open a form FRM letters?
There are some typos in it.
Yeah,
but it
open
works.
it. Yes, he understands me, even if I mistyped the word.
Very realistic.
So, he gives us the answer. You can open a form in MS Access VBA. I haven't given him all these kind of information, but he knows because I give it him in the background. Can I open the form with a filter? ID equals 1, 2, 3, 4. And because the AI knows the context of the conversation, he should give me the code for opening the form letters. And well, he did it. So we can now copy just the code and paste it into our code. The next thing I want to show you is the explain code feature. I take this code and I can do it on the right mouse. There we have the context menu, or you can do it by just saying explain the code. He takes the code to the ChatGPT client, and there we can show what the AI thinks about my code. Function declares a Boolean variable named bReturn and sets it to false. It then checks the upper bound of the array is equal to -1. I will go a step further and ask him if he can rewrite this code. Is there another way to check the array? Well, he told me that there's a function, isArray. I can copy just code and paste it. He just copied all the code. All 3 parts of it is empty array with the len equals null, the type empty. He gave me a few possibilities to check if there's array is empty. So the next thing I want to show you is the import VBA classes. We are delivering the needed VBA classes so that developer can import it into his projects and interact with the AI from the VBA environment. So we just import these classes. There they are. We have the JSON converter from Tim Hall and a module and a class from me. Now I will show you how to interact with the AI with the help of our VBA class. We have prepared a little bit of code here to explain how the request should be made. We import a new model and write a short function, public function test OpenAI. We copy the code. I get the OpenAPI key. I have it right here and paste it. So we should run it and get a result. How do I open the form from accounts with VBA? And there it is. He gave me
The code and some explanation and
Yes.
variation.
So you can build this into your own application and do the work with the VBA classes in the add-in.
Have you ever tried to ask him for SQL text?
I have asked him, we can just try. Can you write a SQL query to get all customers from the TBL customers, which country is England? And give it a try. Select star from table customers where country equals England. With explanation.
So it works for all parts of development.
Yes. If you want, you can modify the start prompt so he will act in another way. You can change the context. I will show it. This is the settings form where you install your license. You give your API key, you change your language, and you see I have a custom language here. I just show you how the custom language will change the user ribbon. So now the custom language has ribbon tab, which excluded the control inspector and the settings. And I show you how to modify the files you need so that the add-in checks that there is a new language. You need 2 files. You can go there and open the installation folder, the custom XML and the custom LNG. There are 2 files needed. So let's open it. So the custom XML is the ribbon top.
That's just the normal ribbon text.
The normal ribbon text, the group text, the text length, the label you can change as you like. And the second thing is there is the button expand. That's the ID. That event is triggered. And if you can show here the prompt for the shorten and the expand. So this is the prompt which gives the AI to change the text length. Add more details to increase the length of the text and output the results as plain text.
And I could change it to anything I need in my application.
Yes, you can change it. And you have the base prompt which I give the AI so that he will give VBA specific answers. You're a very experienced VBA programmer with many years of experience, and you always try to expand your answers with coding examples. You always try to explain even complex tasks as simple as possible. Currently, you are in an MS Access database. So the AI knows the context.
So, thank you very much, Alex. I think that's it.
You're welcome, Carl. Thank you.
Just a moment. A few days later, Alex informed me about some updates to the tool, and one of them we would like to show you briefly. Complete the code. Example, you have only the signature of a function and choose complete the code. The AI now tries to deliver the code based on the name, parameters and comments. Here it succeeds by checking whether one string is contained in another. In the second example, the AI assumes from the signature that it should fetch text from the internet and extract it from the HTML text, and it returns code and explanatory comments. So you have the same functionality in Access VBA as with GitHub Copilot.
This is the entrance to a den in our backyard. There are 4 badgers and 3 foxes living in it. This and this are other holes to the den. So badgers and foxes say access is extremely important.